Welcome to Clout 941. I'm Ron Filipkowski, your host, and tonight we're going to do things a little different, as you can tell by me starting out sitting down here. Usually we're standing up and we jump right into the news, and then we have a particular topic with a guest, but tonight we're going to do things a little bit different. We're going with a Hannity and Combs style format where we're going to throw out a lot of different news segments and have a little conversation about things. We're going to have some fun. We're going to throw out some rumor mill type stuff, and basically just political, local gossip with a couple of guys. My buddy Curt Lavarello's here. He's Combs. I'm Hannity.
There you go.
Curt, how you doing?
Good, Ron. Good to see you again.
Many of you know Curt Lavarello is a Democrat. He ran for sheriff. I'm a Republican, ran for public defender. We both lost, so here we are on the show. Curt, why don't you also tell the audience a little bit more about yourself?
Well, good. Thanks, Ron. It's great to be here. I took my Republican shellacking this year and welcomed into the political world of Sarasota County. But I still run the Sarasota County Coalition on Substance Abuse, which again served as my passion for getting into the race in the first place. I truly believe that the answer could not be building more jails. That hasn't changed in Curt Lavarello. I think we have to explore other ways. We can't just keep putting people behind bars when they have substance abuse and addiction problems. And we know this county has a lot of it going on. And so I'll continue to push for that in a different venue as the director of the program here. And as I tell you, we got some great events coming up in the county. Hopefully try to raise awareness for an issue that should be on everybody's radar screen. All
right, before we jump into some of the news things we're going to talk about, why don't you plug your event? You got one coming up in particular.
Yep, we have March 12th coming up. It's our Shining Stars. We do this every year. It's the 4th annual one, and we elect our Citizen of the Year, a person who's gone out of the way to really make things happen here in town. And this year we're happy to say it's Carl Weinrich, who's been here 32 years with the YMCA. Just a lot of prevention programs and a lot of good things going on there at the Y. Carl will be with us. We're also bringing in the Undersecretary of U.S. Department of Education, Bill Modulewski, will be in town with us that day, who is he's been the Undersecretary at U.S. DOE since the Carter administration, and if you can survive that long in that high of a position, you're doing something right. And so Bill's going to be here with us that day. And then on April 24th, we have our golf tournament, which we do every year. It's a Drive for Life. And we raise money to fight substance abuse in town. So we hope that people come out and take part in those events.
Okay, good cause. All right, now, your opponent that you ran against, Tom Knight, making some changes. Why don't you, what do you think about what he's doing so far? He's only been in office for about a month and a half, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think?
Well, we had a great race, and a lot of people praised us at the end of the race that we ran a very clean race. There were no negative campaigning going on between me and Tom. I mean, we live in the same town. We both live down in Nokomis. Our kids go to the same school. It even became a joke and a rumor mill of its own during the campaign that, somehow we had all these behind-the-scene deals cut. It was in the paper. But, I think he's making changes that, quite frankly, needed to be made in the department. You have to come in and you had to create change. The morale was at an all-time low from what I saw in the department. People were wanting change from the bottom levels right up to the top. And the jail, I mean, I campaigned on it. The jail was a mess. And, so he came in, he made some changes. I heard this week he just appointed Jim Lilly as the new commander of the jail, and Jim's been around the department a long time.
Think that's a good move?
Yeah, I think Jim has been in all areas of the agency, so I think Jim will bring a bright new outlook into that area and make some changes that are ultimately needed in that area.
How would you compare Bill Balkwell to Jeff Monge, two sheriffs?
Bill, Jeff was very decisive. I mean, it was Jeff's way or the highway, the way I recall it here. He took everybody's input, but at the end of the day, it was his decision. Where Bill wanted everybody's input and then went with the majority. And, this is a paramilitary organization you're running here. It's the largest employer, in government in Sarasota County. You got a lot of employees. So the paramilitary organization has to stand. And in such, you have to make decisions that are not going to always be the most popular. You're not there to win a popularity contest. You're there to run a sheriff's department and keep people safe. So, it is early. I've told Tom I've offered my assistance in any way I can with the Sheriff's Department. I was at his swearing-in ceremony. And the people need to stand behind their sheriff at this point and give him a chance, and hopefully he'll do well and keep us all safe.
Something that will shift gears, something that hardly anybody pays attention to, is the County Charter Review Board, which is usually kind of a sleepy meeting, but this past week there was some fireworks there apparently between Republican Bob Wachter and the only Democrat on the board, Debbie Trice. Bob Wachter is a guy, Democrats probably view him as Darth Vader in town. He's probably their arch nemesis. He's always behind the scenes in a lot of these races and a lot of these issues. And apparently he got into it with Debbie Trice over the elected versus appointed sheriff or something. What was that all about, that dust-up? Did you hear?
Well, you know, that comes up. I wrote an editorial piece right before the election in the Herald Tribune questioning why that was being brought up again. I mean, it was put to the voters. They voted to have an appointed sheriff, then they reversed it years ago, went back to an elected sheriff. And the people in this county have spoken very, very clearly. They want to elect their sheriff. So naturally, when it comes up, especially a month before an election, you question the motives. And I certainly did, and I still do, that it's coming up now again. To sit back and say 5 county commissioners, and this is nothing against the county commissioners because I like them all, but to sit back and say that 5 county commissioners can do a better job at selecting the sheriff than the people is just, I think, ill-advised in this particular county. I mean, let's face it, city commissioners pick police chiefs all across the country, and sometimes they pick bad ones. So that's not going to change that. We're going to guarantee we're always going to have the best sheriff because 5 commissioners picked him.
Right.
So.
All right, well, when we come back from the break, we'll keep moving through items in the news this week on Clout 941 when we come back.